Hey everybody and welcome back. I have something a little bit different from my normal videos. I'm going to do a review on this, my new Delta 31250 drum sander. I bought it about 6 months ago from a woodworker friend who needed to reclaim some space in his garage. He gave me a great price on this thing, so now it's going to take up some space in my garage. Let's see if I made a good decision on buying it.
This sander is a Delta 18x36 model 31250. Since my friend takes really good care of his tools, all I needed to do was give the sander a quick clean and vacuum. He hadn't used it in a couple of months, so it was a little bit dusty and just needed a general cleaning. Just the basic vacuum and a once over with an old toothbrush to clean off the gunk was good enough. This whole unit is extremely heavy. It must be around 250 pounds. Getting this beast home by myself and unloading it was a bit of a chore. Like anything that heavy in a shop, I needed to make a cart for it. So I threw together this really basic one and about threw my back out trying to lift it up onto the little cart. The sanding deck, motor mount, and table feed were all made out of cast iron, and it's pretty rock solid, but man is it heavy. The legs and housing are made out of stamped sheet metal and bolted together, but don't think that it's some flimsy thrown together job. There are many bolts that are secured with carriage head screws and recessed flange nuts. The base alone probably weighs about 40 pounds. This sander has a 4-inch diameter dust chute that fits my Harbor Freight dust collector perfectly. The sander definitely needs some type of dust collection to pull the fine dust away, or you're going to have a huge mess and end up clogging up the sanding paper a lot quicker. Having used this for a while with the dust collector, I wanted to see what the difference was when I didn't have it on, and that was a big mistake. The drum power button and the bed feeder knob are independently controlled, allowing you to leave the drum running while you're moving stock on the bed feed. Changing the sanding belts on this guy is pretty simple. All you have to do is open the top, locate the ends of the belt, and push the little spring clip inside the drum and pull the belt off. I usually wind the belt up as I go so it's easier to store and reuse again. Installing the new belt is just as easy. The only couple things you have to remember is that the new belt has a tapered end, and you have to match the angle of the drum since you're going to be winding it around it. The second thing is to make sure the belt is tight and not overlapping at any point. Take your time and get this right, or you'll be in for a real treat when you push a piece of wood through this thing and you get some huge gouges on the surface. Just like at the start of the belt, the end has a clip that holds the tail in. This is where you need to take your time again and adjust the belt to make sure it's tight and aligned properly, because if it's not, you're going to have to unwind the whole thing and do it all over again. Moving the feed bed up and down is done by the elevation hand wheel right here on the side. It's fairly large and easy to move, and after I lubed up the little feed screws there, it had no problem moving it with one hand and getting that really good accuracy to move it up. Feeding the stock is pretty straightforward. There are feed roller bars at the entrance and exit that presses the stock down to the feed bed. On my sander, it may be a bit too stiff. I need to force the stock into the rollers and let the feeder grab it and pull it into the drum. This is the only small issue I have with the machine. It seems like there isn't a simple way to adjust the tension that the rollers put on the stock. Not that big of a deal, just something to be aware of. I'm not sure if you can get a real good understanding of how loud this thing is from the video. Just running it alone, it's not that loud. I usually wear hearing protection, so it's really not that big of an issue for the sander being as loud as it is. I mean, frankly, the dust collector I'm using for it is a lot louder than the sander. I'm assuming when the belt gets a little worn, I'll have to adjust these screws to get the feed back on track. Looking at the manual, you just need a couple of 1/8-inch hex wrenches and some patience to tweak it in a bit. I did it a couple times just to play around with it. It was pretty simple. In my past videos, I used the sander for the flag build, running the long sections through multiple times. I used 80 grit for the flag build video, so it really chewed up the glue and leveled the boards in a couple of passes. I upped it to 100 and then did 220 just to get that smooth finish where everything looked nice. I gotta say, this is one of the tools I never thought I would really buy, or really even have an opportunity to buy because of how expensive it was. After using this for about 4 or 5 months, I can really appreciate the speed and efficiency of having the tool in the shop. If the price is right, I totally recommend investing in one of these drum sanders. With some practice and a little bit of tweaking, you can cut that dreaded sanding time way down. I splurged at Harbor Freight and bought one of those sandpaper cleaning erasers. So far, it's been doing a pretty good job. I recommend that too.